Every day millions of people handle small coins without a second thought, tossing them into jars, pockets, and car cup holders. Among those tiny pieces of change is the humble American dime, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents. But what if one of those small silver-colored coins hiding in your spare change could actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Imagine discovering that a simple 1995p Roosevelt dime you nearly spent at a vending machine could be a rare mint error or high-grade collectible worth far more than its ordinary value. That possibility is what makes coin collecting fascinating. Sometimes the difference between 10 cents and hundreds of dollars is only a tiny detail, a misaligned strike, a missing metal layer, or a subtle minting mistake that escaped detection at the United States Mint. The story of the 1995p one dime coin is not just about money. It is about history, craftsmanship, human error, and the unpredictable journey a coin can take from a minting press to the hands of collectors decades later. The coin most people call the Liberty dime of modern times is officially known as the Roosevelt dime. It belongs to the long-running series of American dimes featuring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This design was first introduced in 1946, shortly after Roosevelt's death, to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II and his strong support of the March of Dimes campaign against polio. The coin's obverse shows the portrait of Roosevelt facing left, while the reverse features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, and strength, three ideals that were considered essential to the American spirit after the war. By the time the year 1995 arrived, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for nearly 50 years. During that half-century the coin became one of the most familiar pieces of American currency. Billions were produced every decade, and most people rarely paid attention to them. Yet within those billions of coins there were subtle variations and occasional minting errors that later became valuable collectibles. The 1995p dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the primary coin-producing facilities of the United States Mint. The letter P on the coin indicates that it came from Philadelphia. In 1995 the Mint produced approximately 1.125 billion of these dimes, making them extremely common in circulation. Because of that large mintage, the vast majority of 1995p dimes are worth little more than their face value today. At first glance that might sound disappointing. A coin produced in the billions rarely becomes rare or valuable. However, numismatics, the study and collection of coins, has always revealed that rarity can come from more than just low production numbers. Sometimes the smallest deviation from normal minting procedures can transform an ordinary coin into a sought-after treasure. Understanding why some 1995p dimes are worth more than 10 cents requires understanding how coins are made. The process begins with metal strips composed of specific alloys. Modern American dimes are not made of silver like older dimes were before 1965. Instead, they are made from a copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy. The finished coin contains approximately 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, giving it the familiar silvery appearance. From these metal strips, machines punch out round blanks known as planchets. The planchets are then heated, cleaned, and fed into powerful coin presses. Inside the press, engraved dies strike the design onto the blank with tremendous force, imprinting the portrait on one side and the reverse design on the other. A collar around the coin forms the reeded edge that helps prevent counterfeiting. In a perfect system every coin would emerge identical. In reality, however, coin production involves complex machinery operating at extremely high speeds. Even the most advanced equipment occasionally experiences minor malfunctions. When something goes wrong during the minting process, a coin may be struck incorrectly. These unusual pieces are known as mint errors, and collectors often prize them because they represent unique moments in the history of coin production. One of the most common error types that can affect a 1995p dime is the off-center strike. This occurs when the metal planchet is not perfectly aligned between the dies at the moment of striking. Instead of receiving a complete centered design, the coin may show part of the design missing while the blank metal area remains visible. The amount of off-center displacement can vary widely. Some coins show only a slight shift, while others may be struck 20% or more off-center. When the date remains visible and the error is dramatic, collectors often pay significant premiums for such pieces. Minor off-center examples might sell for $10 to $20, while more dramatic versions can command higher prices depending on condition. Another fascinating error involves clipped planchets. This type of mistake occurs earlier in the minting process when the planchet blanks are punched from metal strips. If the strip feeds incorrectly into the blanking machine, the punch may overlap a previous cut or strike near the edge of the strip. The result is a planchet with a crescent-shaped section missing from its edge. When such a blank is struck with the coin design, the finished coin retains that distinctive clipped appearance. These clipped planchet dimes are easy to recognize because they show a curved missing section along the rim. Examples from 1995 typically sell for around $30 to $40 in mint condition, though larger clips can be worth even more. Broad strike errors provide another intriguing possibility. During normal minting, a collar die surrounds the planchet and prevents the metal from spreading outward during the strike. If the collar fails to engage properly, the coin can expand beyond its normal diameter. The reeded edge disappears, leaving a smooth edge and a slightly larger coin. These broad strike errors often display stretched design elements because the metal flows outward without restriction. Although broad strikes are not usually extremely valuable, they still attract collectors because they demonstrate how critical the collar mechanism is to coin production. A 1995 broad strike dime might sell for $5 to $15 depending on its condition and the degree of expansion. Perhaps one of the most visually striking errors involves a missing clad layer. Because modern dimes consist of a copper core with copper-nickel outer layers, the outer metal sometimes fails to bond correctly. If the clad layer is missing on one side, the underlying copper core becomes visible, giving the coin a reddish or brownish appearance rather than the normal silver color. Such coins look almost like pennies at first glance, which makes them fascinating to collectors. A 1995 dime missing a clad layer on one side may sell for $15 to $30 in circulated condition and even more in uncirculated condition. If both sides are missing the clad layer, the coin becomes much rarer and may reach values of $100 to $200 or more. Beyond dramatic mint errors, another factor that can dramatically increase the value of a 1995 P dime is its condition. Coin collectors use a detailed grading system that ranges from poor condition to perfect mint state. Coins that have circulated for years typically show scratches, worn surfaces, and dull luster. These coins rarely exceed face value. But coins preserved in near-perfect condition can become valuable because collectors seek the finest possible examples of each year. For the 1995 P dime, an ordinary circulated coin might sell for about 15 to 25 cents, only slightly above its face value. However, an uncirculated specimen graded in mint state condition can sell for several dollars. Even more valuable are coins with the designation known as full bands. On the reverse of the Roosevelt dime, the torch design contains horizontal bands. When these bands appear fully separated and sharply defined, it indicates an especially strong strike from fresh dies. Collectors consider this a sign of exceptional quality. High-grade 1995 P dimes with the full bands designation have been known to reach values far above ordinary coins, with some examples selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the exact grade and rarity. In auction records spanning several decades, one particularly notable 1995 P dime graded MS-67 sold for about $500. This remarkable price illustrates how collectors are willing to pay large sums for coins that represent the finest surviving examples of a common issue. The history behind the Roosevelt dime design adds another layer of significance to the 1995 issue. President Roosevelt was one of the most influential figures in American history. His presidency began during the darkest years of the Great Depression, when millions of Americans were unemployed and the nation's economy was collapsing. Roosevelt introduced the New Deal, a series of economic programs designed to stabilize banks, create jobs, and rebuild infrastructure. His leadership continued through World War II, guiding the United States during a period of global conflict that reshaped the world. Because Roosevelt himself had suffered from polio, he became a strong supporter of efforts to fight the disease. One of the most successful fundraising campaigns in American history was the March of Dimes, which encouraged citizens to donate small coins to support medical research. The connection between Roosevelt and the dime made it an appropriate tribute when the coin was redesigned in 1946. The portrait used on the dime was created by sculptor John R. Sinek, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint. Sinek's design has remained largely unchanged for decades, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Although the design itself remained consistent, subtle changes in production technology and die preparation over the years created variations that collectors study carefully. For instance, different die states can produce slightly different details in the lettering, portrait, or torch design. While most of these variations are minor, some collectors specialize in identifying and cataloging them. The idea that small coins can hold hidden value has fascinated collectors for generations. Stories occasionally appear in the news about rare coins discovered in everyday change. Some of these discoveries involve extremely rare mint errors known as mule coins, where mismatched dies from different coin types accidentally strike the same piece. In one famous example, a Lincoln penny was struck with a Roosevelt dime reverse and later sold for more than $100,000 at auction. Although such extreme errors are extraordinarily rare, they demonstrate how valuable mistakes can become in the world of numismatics. The same principle applies on a smaller scale to coins like the 1995p dime. A small deviation from normal production can transform a coin that once bought a piece of candy into a collectible artifact worth far more. Collectors searching through rolls of coins often look specifically for these types of anomalies. The practice is known as coin roll hunting. Enthusiasts obtain rolls of coins from banks and carefully examine each piece for unusual characteristics. While most rolls contain only ordinary coins, the occasional discovery of a mint error or high-grade specimen keeps collectors motivated. In the case of the 1995p dime, the enormous mintage means that millions of these coins remain in circulation even decades later. Many people unknowingly carry them in their pockets every day. That widespread availability creates the possibility that valuable examples still exist in everyday change. Another aspect of the coin's value involves professional grading services. Companies such as the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Company evaluate coins, assign official grades, and encapsulate them in protective holders. Once a coin receives certification from one of these services, collectors can buy and sell it with greater confidence. High-grade certified coins often achieve higher prices at auction because their authenticity and condition are guaranteed. Market demand also plays a significant role in determining the value of coins. In the world of collectibles, rarity alone is not always enough. A coin must also attract interest from collectors who appreciate its historical or aesthetic significance. The Roosevelt dime series enjoys a large collector base because it is affordable and widely available, making it accessible to beginners as well as experienced numismatists. The 1995p dime occupies an interesting position within this series. It is not considered rare in the traditional sense, but its potential for rare varieties and high-grade examples ensures ongoing interest among collectors. Over time, as fewer pristine examples remain available, the value of top-graded coins may continue to rise. Another reason collectors pay attention to modern coins like the 1995p dime is the possibility of undiscovered varieties. Sometimes researchers examining thousands of coins notice subtle differences in lettering or design details that indicate the existence of different die varieties. These discoveries can transform a previously overlooked coin into a recognized collectible. For example, double die errors occur when the coin die receives multiple impressions during its creation, resulting in slightly doubled images or lettering on the finished coin. Although major double dies are relatively rare for modern dimes, even minor examples can attract collector interest. Die clash errors represent another unusual phenomenon. These occur when the coin press strikes without a planchet between the dies, causing the dies to hit each other directly. The impact can leave faint impressions of one design on the opposite die. Subsequent coins struck with those dies may show ghost-like images of the opposite side's design. Collectors sometimes find such clash marks on Roosevelt dimes, including examples from the mid-1990s. Stories shared within collector communities illustrate how exciting these discoveries can be. In online discussions, collectors sometimes post images of unusual coins and ask whether they might represent genuine mint errors. Occasionally experienced numismatists confirm that a coin shows signs of a die clash or misaligned strike, turning an ordinary piece of pocket change into a conversation piece or collectible. Of course, not every unusual-looking coin is a true mint error. Many coins suffer damage after leaving the mint. Heat exposure, corrosion, or physical impact can alter a coin's appearance. Distinguishing between genuine mint errors and post-mint damage is one of the key skills collectors must develop. Despite these challenges, the thrill of discovery continues to draw people into the hobby of coin collecting. The idea that valuable coins might still be circulating among ordinary change creates a sense of adventure. Every handful of coins becomes an opportunity to search for hidden history. The 1995p dime also reflects broader trends in American coinage during the late 20th century. By the 1990s, the United States Mint had become highly efficient, producing billions of coins annually to meet the needs of a growing economy. Advances in machinery and quality control reduced the number of errors compared with earlier decades, yet occasional mistakes still slipped through the system. At the same time, the popularity of coin collecting experienced a resurgence during the late 20th century. Coin shows, price guides, and online marketplaces allowed collectors to buy and sell coins more easily than ever before. As a result, even modern coins like the 1995 p dime began receiving closer scrutiny. Today, the value of a 1995 p dime varies widely depending on its characteristics. A typical circulated coin remains worth only about 10 to 25 cents. An uncirculated example might bring a few dollars. But a coin with a dramatic mint error, exceptional strike quality, or near-perfect preservation could command hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the right market. This wide range of values illustrates an important lesson about coins and collectibles in general. Monetary value is not determined solely by the number printed on the coin. Instead, it emerges from a combination of rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. For many people, the true appeal of the 1995 p dime lies not only in its potential value but also in the story it represents. Every coin passes through countless hands, traveling across cities and states, buying meals, rides, and everyday necessities. Over time, it becomes a tiny witness to human activity and economic exchange. Some coins eventually find their way into collections, where they are preserved as artifacts of history. Others continue circulating for decades, gradually wearing down as they move from pocket to pocket. A small number experience unusual events during production, emerging from the mint with unique characteristics that make them stand out among billions of ordinary coins. In that sense, the story of the 1995 p dime reflects the broader story of American coinage. It represents the intersection of history, technology, economics, and human curiosity. From the design honoring President Roosevelt to the complex machinery that strikes each coin, every detail contributes to the coin's identity. For collectors and enthusiasts, the excitement lies in the possibility that something extraordinary might still be hiding in plain sight. A coin that appears completely ordinary could hold a secret, a tiny flaw or variation that transforms it into a rare collectible. So the next time you encounter a small silver dime dated 1995 with a tiny P mint mark beneath the date, it may be worth taking a closer look. Examine the edges, the design, the color, and the alignment. Most likely it will be just another ordinary coin worth 10 cents. But occasionally, if fortune and careful observation align, that small coin might reveal itself as something far more valuable. In the world of numismatics, even the smallest pieces of metal can carry remarkable stories. The 1995 p Roosevelt dime is one such story, a reminder that history, craftsmanship, and the occasional minting mistake can transform a simple coin into a fascinating collectible that captures the imagination of collectors around the world. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a small silver-colored coin that most people would barely notice. It is only worth 10 cents in everyday spending, and millions of people handle coins like it every day without a second thought. But what if that simple dime hiding in your loose change could actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the right collector? What if a tiny detail stamped onto that coin during the moment it was created at the United States Mint turned it from ordinary money into a rare historical collectible? The surprising truth is that coins like the 1999 D Liberty 1 dime sometimes carry stories far greater than their face value. For coin collectors, historians, and everyday treasure hunters, this small piece of metal represents the fascinating intersection of history, craftsmanship, and chance. The idea that a 10-cent coin could secretly be worth far more is exactly what keeps collectors searching through jars of spare change and rolls of coins from banks, hoping to discover something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. The 1999 D Roosevelt dime is part of a long and important tradition in American coinage. Although many people casually refer to it as a Liberty dime because of the word Liberty engraved on the front, it officially belongs to the Roosevelt dime series that began in the mid-20th century. This coin carries the portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of the most influential leaders in American history. Roosevelt served as president from 1933 to 1945, guiding the United States through the devastating years of the Great Depression and leading the nation during most of World War II. His leadership and legacy were so significant that the United States Mint chose to honor him shortly after his death by placing his image on the nation's 10-cent coin. The Roosevelt dime first appeared in circulation in 1946, replacing the earlier Mercury dime design. The Mercury dime, despite its nickname, actually featured the figure of Liberty wearing a winged cap symbolizing freedom of thought. But after Roosevelt's passing in 1945, the nation sought a way to honor the president's contributions and his personal connection to a famous charity known as the March of Dimes. Roosevelt had suffered from polio earlier in his life and became a passionate supporter of efforts to fund research and treatment for the disease. The March of Dimes campaign encouraged Americans to donate small coins, especially dimes, to support medical research. Because of this strong association between Roosevelt and the dime, the denomination became a natural choice for a commemorative coin. The design of the Roosevelt dime was created by John R. Sinnock, who served as the chief engraver of the United States Mint. On the front of the coin, known as the obverse, Roosevelt's portrait faces left. The word liberty appears beside the portrait, continuing a long American tradition of emphasizing liberty as a core national value. The phrase "In God We Trust" appears nearby, and the date of minting is stamped below the portrait. Beneath the date is a small letter that identifies the mint where the coin was produced. On the 1999 D dime, that letter is D, representing the Denver Mint. The reverse side of the coin contains a symbolic design that reflects American ideals. At the center is a torch representing freedom and enlightenment. To the left of the torch is an olive branch symbolizing peace, and to the right is an oak branch symbolizing strength and stability. Surrounding these symbols are the words United States of America and one dime. Above the torch appears the phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, reflecting the unity of the nation. By the time 1999 arrived, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for more than 50 years. Over that time the design remained remarkably consistent, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The year 1999 itself was an important moment in American coinage because it marked the beginning of the famous state quarters program. While quarters were receiving new designs representing each U.S. state, the dime remained unchanged, quietly continuing its long tradition. The 1999 D dime was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin-producing facilities in the United States. During that year the mint produced approximately 1,397,750,000 dimes with the D mint mark. With such an enormous number of coins produced, it is easy to understand why most 1999 D dimes are extremely common today. In ordinary circulated condition they are still worth only their face value of 10 cents. Even uncirculated examples in typical mint state condition often sell for only a small premium, sometimes around 30 cents to a few dollars depending on their quality. Yet coin collectors know that the real value of a coin is not determined solely by how many were minted. Sometimes rarity arises not from low production numbers but from unusual events that occurred during the minting process. When machines malfunction or planchets are misaligned during striking, the resulting coins may contain errors. These mint errors can transform otherwise ordinary coins into valuable collectibles. To understand how such errors occur, it helps to look at the process used to produce modern coins. The production of a dime begins with long sheets of metal composed of copper sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy. This composition gives the coin its familiar silver appearance even though it contains no actual silver. Each dime weighs about 2.27 grams and measures approximately 17.91 millimeters in diameter. From these metal strips, machines punch out circular blanks called planchets. The planchets are then cleaned and heated to prepare them for striking. After preparation they move into high-speed coin presses where engraved steel dies stamp the design onto the metal with tremendous pressure. A collar around the planchet forms the ridged edge known as reeding. Because this entire process occurs extremely quickly and involves complex machinery, small mistakes occasionally happen. When a mistake occurs at the mint and the coin still enters circulation, collectors consider it a mint error coin. Such coins often attract significant attention because they represent rare deviations from the normal minting process. One of the most common types of error seen on coins like the 1999 D dime is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank coin is not perfectly aligned within the striking chamber when the dies strike it. Instead of the design appearing centered, part of the coin may show blank metal where the design was never stamped. Depending on how far the coin is off-center, the date and mint mark may still be visible. Coins with dramatic off-center strikes can be worth far more than ordinary coins. Minor examples may sell for $5 to $20, while more dramatic off-center strikes with the date visible can reach values of $100 or more. Another interesting error is known as the double die. This error occurs during the manufacturing of the die itself rather than during the striking of individual coins. When the die receives multiple impressions that are slightly misaligned, the final coins struck from that die show doubled lettering or numbers. On a 1999 dime, collectors often check the word Liberty or the date for signs of doubling. Such coins can sell for between $10 and $200 depending on the clarity of the doubling and the coin's condition. A particularly dramatic type of error involves a coin being struck on the wrong planchet. In one famous example from the 1999 D-dime series, a dime design was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a penny. Because pennies are made primarily of copper, the resulting coin appeared copper-colored rather than silver. It was also slightly larger and thinner than a normal dime. This unusual mistake created one of the most valuable varieties of the 1999 D-dime. One such coin graded MS-65 sold for over $6,000 at auction, demonstrating how valuable minting mistakes can become. In another case involving this unusual error type, an extremely rare specimen reportedly reached a value exceeding $14,000 when sold in high mint state condition. Only a few examples of this error are known to exist, making it highly desirable among collectors who specialize in mint errors. The condition of a coin also plays a major role in determining its value. Coin collectors use a grading system that ranges from poor condition to perfect mint state. Circulated coins that have been used in everyday transactions usually show scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details. These coins rarely sell for more than their face value. However, coins preserved in exceptional condition can be worth significantly more. Collectors often search for coins with bright original luster, sharp details, and minimal marks. In the case of Roosevelt dimes, one particular detail known as full bands can greatly increase a coin's value. On the reverse of the coin, the torch design contains horizontal bands around its center. When these bands appear completely separated and sharply defined, the coin may receive the full bands designation from professional grading services. This designation indicates that the coin was struck with exceptional clarity and detail. Coins with the full bands feature can sell for 2 to 3 times the value of ordinary examples in similar condition. The difference between ordinary and exceptional condition can be dramatic. While a typical mint state 1999 D dime might sell for only a few dollars, a nearly perfect example graded at the highest levels can bring far higher prices in the collector market. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC play an important role in the coin collecting industry. These organizations examine coins under magnification and assign them numerical grades based on their condition. The coins are then sealed in protective holders that include the grade and certification number. Collectors often rely on these services to verify the authenticity and quality of valuable coins. The story of the 1999 D dime also reflects the broader history of modern American coin production. By the late 20th century, the United States Mint had developed highly advanced manufacturing technology capable of producing billions of coins each year. This massive production was necessary to supply the growing economy with enough circulating currency. Despite strict quality control, occasional mistakes still occurred. These errors, once considered defects, eventually became prized collectibles. Collectors appreciate them because they provide insight into the complex processes behind coin production. Coin collecting itself has evolved dramatically over time. What began as a hobby for wealthy scholars and historians eventually became accessible to people from all walks of life. Today, millions of collectors around the world search for rare coins, study minting history, and trade collectibles through auctions and online marketplaces. One popular activity among modern collectors is known as coin roll hunting. Enthusiasts obtain rolls of coins from banks and carefully examine each coin for unusual features. Although most rolls contain only ordinary coins, the occasional discovery of a mint error or high-grade example makes the search exciting. Stories shared within the coin collecting community often describe surprising discoveries. Some collectors have found valuable coins in everyday change, in jars of old coins stored for years, or even mixed into rolls from banks. These discoveries remind people that valuable coins can still appear in unexpected places. The 1999 D dime remains especially interesting because so many examples were produced. With more than 1 billion coins minted that year, many are still circulating today. This means that rare varieties or error coins may still be waiting to be discovered. Another factor contributing to the coin's appeal is its connection to American history. Every Roosevelt dime represents a tribute to a president who led the nation through some of its most difficult times. The coin's symbols of liberty, peace, and strength reflect the ideals that shaped the United States during the 20th century. Over time, coins like the 1999 D dime become small historical artifacts. Each one has traveled through countless transactions, linking the everyday lives of people across cities and generations. Some coins remain in circulation for decades, gradually wearing down as they pass from hand to hand. Others are preserved by collectors who recognize their historical significance. For many collectors, the thrill of coin hunting lies not only in the possibility of profit but also in the excitement of discovery. Finding a rare coin among ordinary change feels like uncovering a hidden piece of history. Even a small detail such as an unusual mint mark or striking error can transform an everyday coin into a valuable collectible. The story of the 1999 D Liberty 1 dime reminds us that value can appear in unexpected places. A coin that most people would spend without thinking could actually hold significant worth if it carries the right characteristics. Errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or wrong planchet strikes can turn a simple 10-cent coin into a collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. As time passes and more coins are lost or worn down, the finest surviving examples may become even more desirable among collectors. The coin collecting market constantly evolves as new discoveries are made and demand changes. So the next time you find a 1999 D dime in your pocket or coin jar, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look at the mint mark, the details of the torch, and the alignment of the design. Most likely it will be an ordinary coin worth only 10 cents. But occasionally a coin may reveal a rare error or exceptional condition that transforms it into something far more valuable. In the world of numismatics, even the smallest coins can carry remarkable stories. The 1999 D Roosevelt dime stands as a reminder that history, craftsmanship, and the occasional minting mistake can combine to create a treasure hidden within everyday change.